Extinguishment of obligation. So take note, class, that under Article 1156, okay, an obligation is the juridical necessity to give, to do, or not to do. Now, this obligation can be extinguished as provided under Article 1231 of the Civil Code. It provides that obligation may be extinguished by payments or performance, by loss of the thing due, by condonation or remission of the debt, by confusion or merger of the rights of the creditor and debtor, by compensation, and by novation. Also, there are other causes of extinguishment of obligations such as annulment, rescission, fulfillment of a resolutory condition, and prescription. So take note that we have an acronym here in order for you to easily memorize. No? We have PRC-RAP, MNLF. Take note of that. PRC-RAP, MNLF. Ulat natin. So P, we have payment. R, we have remission or condonation. Okay? So we have a donation or condonation. If you're going to condone the debt, then that is a form of donation. And you have to comply with the requirements of a donation in case it is a personal property or real property. No? Then we have here C, compensation. Okay. Another R, rescission. A, annulment. So to rescind, to annul the contract. Another P, okay, we have performance. Rather prescription. A prescription. If the statute of limitation, no, has reached, naabutan na, then prescribed na. And a civil obligation will be converted to a natural obligation. And then we have M. Okay, we have merger or confusion. This is a case wherein the creditor and the debtor is the same and one person. See, for example, a promissory note, no? Yung debtor nag-promise, no, na magbabayad siya sa creditor. I promise to pay Juan de la Cruz the amount of 10,000 or better. Yan. On say for example July 10, 2022. Siyempre bearer instrument 'yan, pwedeng negotiate, no, by mere delivery. Okay? So hanggang umabot din. So prior to the date, umabot na sa possession nung issuer yung sinasabi nating promissory note. So siya na yung debtor, at the same time siya din yung creditor. So merger yan. So it will result to extinguishment of an obligation. And then N, okay, novation. Pag sinabi nating novation, there is change in either the object or subject of an obligation. So subjective or objective novation, mapapalitan, no, yung isa sa mga parties or mapapalitan yung object. Yan. So MNLF, ayan. L stands for loss of the thing due. Okay, so take note, ang nawawala lang ay specific thing. So pag generic thing or generic object, it can be replaced. So hindi po ma-extinguish ang obligation kung ang obligation mo is to deliver a generic thing. MNLF, fulfillment of a resolutory condition. So pag sinabi nating resolutory, it will put an end to an obligation. Pag sinabi nating suspensive, suspended pa lang, it will give rise to an obligation. So fulfillment of a condition, so pag sinabi nating condition, it may or may not happen. There is no certainty, kaya nga conditional yan. Unlike kapag with a period, certain to happen. So kapag resolutory, kapag nangyari yon, then mafulfill yung condition, then mag-extinguish na yung obligation. Say for example, Passing the CPA board examination is a condition, no? Kahit isipin mo na with a period yan, sir, siguradong papasa ako. Nasa isip lang natin yan. Pero marami pa rin hindi pumapasa. Okay? Hindi ganun ka, hindi 100% na passing rate. So there is a chance na hindi mangyari. Diba? So it is a condition. So for example, I will give you 1,000 pesos every week until you pass the CPA board examination. So the obligation is already demandable, di ba? Kasi nga it will put an end doon sa obligation na yan kapag ka nangyari. Okay? So pwede ka nang mag-demand. Now, upon fulfillment, nung pumasa ka na, mawawala na yung obligasyon niya to give you 1,000 pesos every week. Kaya baka mag-iisip ka, no, teka lang, kung lakihan kaya niya ng 10,000 per week, gusto ko pa bang ipasa? Siyempre, dapat ipasa mo pa rin. What is 10,000 per week kapag CPA ka na? No? Siyempre, sa entry level, do not expect na ganun kataas. But as you progress, no, sa career mo, ay maraming opportunity as being a CPA. So, ito, class, no, let us discuss thoroughly, no, itong kinds of extinguishment obligation. Payment or performance. Siyempre, kung may utang si Juan de la Cruz kay Pedro na 10,000, ang extinguishment niyan by payment ay bayaran niya yung 10,000. No? Kung kailan due and demandable na yung 10,000. Okay? Or performance. So say for example, binayaran naman si Juan de la Cruz ng 10,000 at ang obligation ni Pedro is to paint yung portion ng bahay niya. So that is performance. So kung pininturahan na ni Juan de la Cruz, then there will be extinguishment of the obligation on the part of Juan de la Cruz. So payment means not only delivery of money but also performance in any other manner of an obligation. So payment shall be made to the following person. Number one, to the person in whose favor the obligation has been constituted, his successor in interest, or any person authorized to receive it. Yung successor in interest, syempre yung mga heirs niya, no? Or yung authorized person. Requisite of payment or performance. So payment must be complete and regular. So hindi na pwedeng 10,000 ang binayad mo tapos nagbigay ka lang ng 10,000 ang utang mo, nagbigay ka lang ng 8,000. So hindi pa extinguish yan. Kaya nga partial payment lang yon. Hindi pa full extinguish yung obligation mo. Okay? Payment must be tendered by the proper person. So hindi pwedeng ibang tao ang magbayad unless authorized mo siya yung magbayad. Okay? Payment should be made to the proper person. So hindi rin pwedeng kahit kapatid nung creditor mo unless authorized din yung kapatid to receive, no? So dapat kung sino yung nakautangan, yun ang bayaran natin. Payment must be tendered in the proper place. Kung may usapan kayo kung saan magbabayad, person paying must have the capacity to make payment. So alam nyo na yung capacity, no? Yung idiot, remember idiot. Okay, yung mga incapacitated persons, no? IDIUT. No, we have insane, deaf mute, we have unemancipated minors, those suffering from civil interdiction, and of course those incapacitated. Yeah. Person to whom payment is made must have the capacity to receive it. The identity of the prestation must be preserved. Legal tender. The payment of debt in money shall be made in the currency stipulated. So kung ang utang ay in Philippine peso, Philippine peso. Kung naka-dollars, dollars kasi stipulated. Now, if hindi stipulated, if it's not possible to deliver such currency, then in the currency which is the legal tender in the Philippines. At yan po ay peso. Okay? So in case of extraordinary inflation or deflation, alam nyo naman pag inflation, ang purchasing power ng pera ay bumababa kasi tumataas ang mga presyo ng bilihin. Kapag deflation naman, kabaliktaran. So kapag ganyan, sabi ng batas, okay, deflation or inflation of the currency stipulated should supervene. Okay? The value of the currency at the time of the establishment of the obligation shall be the basis of payment. So kung ano exchange rate, say for example, nung time na na-establish yung obligation, yun ang gagamitin kung sakali man na merong extraordinary inflation or deflation. Kawawa naman kasi yung nagpautang, say for example, kung meron tayong inflation na extraordinary, yung value or yung tinatawag nating purchasing power niya ay babagsak. Kawawa naman yung magbabayad kung extraordinary deflation naman. Diba? So ayan. Unless there's agreement to the contrary. The delivery of promissory note payable to order or bill of exchange or other mercantile document shall produce the effect of payment only when, number one, when they have been cashed. So ibig sabihin kung inisyuhan ka ng cheque tapos dated June 15, 2022, okay? So kahit yung cheque na yan ay dated, kung hindi mo pa pinapa-encash sa bangko or hindi mo pa dinedeposit sa bangko at nag-clear, hindi pa po considered as payment yon. Okay? When through the fault of the creditor, they have been impaired. So say for example, okay, binigyan ka ng promissory note o kaya naman na cheque, tapos na-impair yung document na yan dahil sa kapabayaan ng creditor, good as paid na yon. Okay? Pero syempre hindi ka nakakuha ng bayad, so papalitan mo siya. Diba? Papalitan mo siya. Special form of payment. So kapag extinguishment of obligation class tapos payment or performance, ito yung dapat yung tandaan, take note, no? Itong special form of payment. We have application of payment, dasyon and pago or dasyon and payment, payment by session, and tender of payment and consignation. Okay? So we have here dasyon and pago. So pag sinabing dasyon and pago, kulang yung pera mo, cash, tas ang pinambayad mo ay property. Diba? Tapos yung property na yan ay regardless kung ang value niya ay less than or more than dun sa utang, ma-extinguish na ng buo yung utang mo. Okay? Dahil ang dasyon and payment or dasyon and pago, it shall be governed by law on sales as if binenta mo na. Diba? Here the property is alienated to the creditor in satisfaction of a debt in money. This is considered as an objective novation. Bakit objective novation? Example, si Juan de la Cruz may utang na 10,000 kay Pedro. So ang object ay cash, 'di ba? So credit. Okay? So meron siyang loan. Ngayon, hindi makapagbayad si Juan de la Cruz kay Pedro, ang ginawa niya ay binigay na lang niya yung cellphone niya na iPhone. Okay? Kung ano ang value nung tinanggap naman ni Pedro, kung anong value ng iPhone, whether 10,000 man yan or less than or more than, good as extinguished na yung obligation. Okay, bakit siya novation? Napalitan yung object from cash up to cellphone. Ayan. So, ganun. Objective novation. Now, requisite of dasyon and pago, number one, there must be performance of the prestation in lieu of payment, which may consist in delivering thing, real right, or credit against third person. There must be difference between the prestation due and that which is given in substitution. Say, for example, yung kanina, prestation due ay yung pera na 10,000. Yung binigay na substitute ay thing, yung cellphone. There must be an agreement between the creditor and debtor that the obligation is immediately extinguished by reason of performance of prestation different from that due. So dapat mag-agree sila. Application of payment. The debtor who has various debts of same kind in favor of one and the same creditor may declare at the time of making the payment to which of them the same must be applied. So say for example, si Juan de la Cruz, okay, marami siyang utang kay Pedro. Umutang siya last year, 2021. Umutang siya noong 2020. Umutang ulit siya ngayon 2022. Tapos may mga due and demandable na ng mga utang or loan at meron ding hindi pa due and demandable. Ayan. So kung magbabayad ngayon si Juan de la Cruz kay Pedro, pwede niyang piliin kung ano doon yung i-applyan niya. Kaya application of payment. However, may requisite yan. Number one, there must be two or more debts or several obligations. The debt must be of the same kind. Okay, the debts are owed by the same debtor to the same creditor. Okay, all debts are due as a rule. So dapat i-apply mo lang yung payment. Say for example, noong 2020 may utang ka na 5,000, 2021 may utang ka na 10,000, 2022 may utang kang 20,000. Ayan. So dapat yung due and demandable ang applyan mo ng payment. So 5 plus 10 plus 20, that's equivalent to 35,000. Ngayon, ang ibinabayad mo lang is, say for example, 20,000. So kulang yung binabayad mo, hindi sapat para mabayaran lahat. Kaya i-apply mo. Okay? Stipulation of the parties provides that payment may be applied to debt not yet due kung may agreement. When application is made by the party for whose benefit the term has been constituted, the payment made is not sufficient to cover all obligation. Ito po yung sinasabi ko kanina, hindi sapat yung ibabayad. Kasi kung sapat naman or more than, wala kang application dyan, bayaran mo na. Ang magiging mode of extinguishment ng obligation ay payment. Full payment. Yeah. To application, special form. Payment shall be applied by operation of law. Payment applied to the most onerous debt. So pag sinabi nating most onerous, yan po yung mga utang na may interest, di ba? At most onerous ay yung due and demandable na at mataas yung interest din. If debts are of the same nature or burden, payment shall be applied to all debts due proportionately. So kung pare-parehas lang din yung burden or nature, walang interest, or kung may interest rate naman, pare-parehas din yung interest rate, then proportionately. Payment by cession. The debtor may cede or assign his property to his creditor in payment of his debt. Anong pagkakaiba nito sa payment ng dasyon in payment sa payment by cession? Sa dasyon in payment, kapag dineliver na yung thing, good as sold na yon, di ba? Governed by law on sale. So ibig sabihin, extinguish na yung obligation. Okay? Dito sa payment by cession, yung debtor magbibigay ng thing, pero ipapabenta niya kay creditor yan. So aalamin pa ni creditor kung sapat na ba yung proceeds or kulang pa. Di ba? Siyempre, obviously, kapag sapat na, extinguish na. Ibabalik pa niya yung sobra. Kapag kulang, kulang pa yon, hindi pa extinguish. This cession, unless there is stipulation that the contrary shall only release. Ayan, only release the debtor from responsibility for the net proceeds of the thing assigned. Okay? Unless may agreement to the contrary. Requisite of payment by cession, there must be 2 or more creditors. The debtor is insolvent. The debtor abandons all his properties except those that are exempt from execution. Say for example, yung family home. Alangan namang pwedeng ibigay pa yan, isa na siya titira. The creditors accept the abandonment. Okay, sa payment by cession, there must be 2 or more creditors. Sa dasyon in pago, isa lang. Okay? Tapos hindi required sa dasyon in pago na insolvent. Dito sa payment by cession, insolvent po yung debtor. Okay? Tender of payment and consignation. So anong concept ng tender of payment? Ito po yung instance na gusto mo nang magbayad, etong creditor mo naman ayaw niyang tanggapin. For whatever reason, ayaw niyang tanggapin. Okay? So ngayon, anong dapat mong gawin para ma-extinguish yung obligation? Kasi baka naman ayaw niyang tanggapin dahil gusto niyang lumobo pa yung interest mo. No? So ang gawin mo, mag-tender ka ng payment, tapos i-deposit mo sa korte. Okay? Hindi pwedeng i-deposit sa vault o kaya naman i-deposit sa or ibigay sa kapatid. Yan. O kaya naman sabihin nating merong deposit account, no? I-deposit mo na lang doon kung ayaw niyong tanggapin, 'di ba? So, kailangan meron munang tender of payment. However, there are instances wherein tender of payment may be disregarded and you can go directly to the court to deposit, no? If the creditor to whom tender of payment has been made refuses without just cause. So ito without just cause to accept it. Ay, hindi ko tatanggapin yan. Bakit naman? Basta. Teka lang. Nagte-tender of payment na ako may witness ako dito. Kung ayaw mo, ide-deposito na lang sa bangko. Ay, hindi rin pwede yan, sabi ng batas. Diba? Kasi ang consignation na sinasabi ng batas ay deposit sa korte. Ayan ha. Siyempre, yung creditor, kaya nga hindi niya tinatanggap, probably hindi rin niya ibibigay yung bank account niya. Example, no? Example dito. An instance wherein you can forgo yung tender of payment when 2 or more persons are claiming doon sa payment tapos hindi mo alam kung sino ba talaga ang dapat mong bayaran, no? So kapag ganoon, sabi mo sa kanila, Sabi ni Juan de la Cruz, "Uy, maniningil dyan, ha? Kasi yung pina-photocopy ninyo, ako yung may-ari ng photocopying shop." Okay? So yung mga handouts, etc. na pina-photocopy ninyo, okay, dapat sa account ko i-deposit or sa akin na mo ibigay. Ayan. Sabi naman ni Pedro, sabi niya, oo nga, nasa kanya, nakapangalan sa kanya yung business. Pero ako ang nag-invest sa akin yung mga machine, ako yung gumastos ng mga materials, no, yung bond paper at saka yung iba pang mga kailangan diyan sa printing. So ngayon, ikaw na debtor na may obligation to pay, hindi mo alam kung sino babayaran mo. Okay? So kapag dalawang taong nagki-claim, then you don't need to tender payment. Pwede ka na mag-deposit saan? Sa korte, hindi sa bangko. Okay? Kasi problema mo yan eh. Pag dineposit mo kay Juan de la Cruz, kakasuhan naman ni Pedro. Baka madamay ka pa. Kapag dineposit mo naman kay Pedro, baka madamay ka pa sa kaso ni Juan de la Cruz. The debtor shall be released from the responsibility by consignation of the thing or sum due. Consignation alone shall produce the same effect in the following cases: when the creditor is absent or unknown or does not appear at the place of payment, when he is incapacitated to receive the payment. Okay, so say for example, ang usapan nyo, magmi-meet kayo sa ganitong location, tapos hindi siya nag-appear, wala siya. Okay? So hindi siya sumipot. Or incapacitated. Ibig sabihin, baka naman nasa hospital siya, nasa ICU, di ba? Hindi mo naman pwedeng pilitin na tanggapin niya yon. Without just cause, he refuses to give a receipt. Okay? Ayaw niyang magbigay ng resibo. Teka lang, protection mo yan. Di ba? Baka malay mo, someday sabi niya wala siya natanggap. Di ba? So kung maniningil ka, dapat may resibo. Okay? When two or more person claim the same right to collect. Yan yung diniscuss ko kanina na baka may dalawang claimant. Kapag ganun, all you have to do is just to deposit it in the court. You don't need to tender payment. When the title of the obligation has been lost. So pag sinabi nating title of the obligation has been lost, wala nang document, no, na magpo-prove na ito pong obligation na ito ay nag-exist. So pwede ka nang mag-deposit sa korte. Yan. Requisite of tender of payment and consignation, there must be a debt due. There is a prior tender of payment but the creditor refused to accept it without just cause. Okay? Kasi kung may just cause, for example, ay hindi ko tatanggapin yan. Bakit naman? Kulang eh. O just cause. Diba? Dapat may interest yan. Ayan. He was absent or incapacitated because several persons claimed to be entitled to receive the amount due or the title to the obligation has been lost. There is previous notice of consignation. So first, ay ino-notify mo muna, no? Na magko-consignation na ako, i-deposit ko na sa korte ito. Given to the person interested in the performance of the obligation. Okay, so may prior notice of consignation, actual consignation, and then meron pang after notice, no? So the amount was placed at the disposal of the court or judicial authority, hindi po sa bangko. Okay? After consignation, the person interested was notified of the action. Yan po ang requirement para maging valid ang tender of payment and consignation, which will extinguish the obligation. Okay? Loss of the thing due and impossibility of performance. An obligation which consists in the delivery of a determinate thing shall be extinguished if, number one, it shall be lost or destroyed without fault of the debtor and before he has incurred in delay. Okay? So take note, class, ng thing na pwedeng mawala ay specific thing. Kasi kung generic thing yan or generic object, pwede siyang palitan. Regardless kung nawala siya due to your fault of the as a debtor or nag-incur ka ng delay. Kasi mapapalitan mo. So for example, yung one case ng Coca-Cola product na 12 ounces, mapapalitan mo yan. Now, kapag ito ay specific thing, tapos due to fortuitous event, wala kang fault, okay, at nawala, it will extinguish the obligation. Di ba? So it should be lost or destroyed without the fault of the debtor and before he has incurred in delay. Take note under Article 1174 of the Civil Code, fortuitous event, di ba? Is an event that is uncertain. And though it is uncertain, it is inevitable. Ayan. So it is uncertain, hindi mo alam kung kailan mangyayari. At kung sakali man na ine-expect mo na, no, na mangyayari, rather hindi mo alam kung kailan mangyayari, pero possible na matutuloy yan. Inevitable. Say for example, typhoon. Alam mo na magkakaroon ng typhoon kasi meron ng mga system na yung pag-asa, di ba? Pero ang tanong mapipigilan mo ba? Hindi. Kasi inevitable. Kung sakali namang earthquake, yan, it is unforeseen. Yan, unforeseen event. Uncertain, unexpected, and unforeseen. Okay, event. Though foreseen, it is inevitable. Before he has incurred in delay. Bakit ganon? Kasi ang exception doon, di ba, as a rule, general rule under Article 1174, no person shall be held liable in case of fortuitous event, except FNDC. Yan, may FNDC doon, di ba? Except if the debtor committed fraud, negligence, delay, contravention of the tenor of the obligation. The thing is lost in the following instance. It perishes, it goes out of commerce of men, it disappears in such a way that existence is unknown, or it cannot be recovered. See, for example, lumubog na yung barko, tapos i-deliver a specific thing, hindi na po kayang ma-recover. Goes out of commerce of men, nung na-declare na hindi pala FDA approved o kaya naman nakakasama sa health, then hindi na pwedeng ibenta. It perishes, alam nyo na ibig sabihin ng perishes. Condonation or remission. Ito po parang donation ito, no? Ibig sabihin, hindi mo nasisingilin. Okay? Essentially, it is gratuitous and requires the acceptance. Okay? Acceptance by the obligor. So, hindi po pwedeng mag-offer ka lang. No? Ikaw yung creditor, maganda yung nasa loob mo. Sige, wag mo nang bayaran. Juan de la Cruz, yung utang mo sa akin. Masaya ako ngayon, pumasa ako ng CPE board exam. Si Juan de la Cruz, syempre, para ma-extinguish yung obligation niya, dapat i-accept niya yun. Ay talaga ba? Sige, salamat. Ayan. Ngayon, ang tanong magkano yung utang? Diba? Since pera ang utang, personal property yan, depende ang value. Kung more than 5,000, dapat nakasulat in writing in order for the said condonation or remission to be valid. Diba? Kasi donation yan ng personal property. Diba? Kapag 5,000 or less, kahit na hindi po nakasulat. Okay, so take note of that. It may be made expressly or impliedly. One and the other kind shall be subject to the rules which governs inofficious donation. Pag sinabi nating inofficious donation, these are donations that affects the legitime. Kumbaga, mai-impair yung mga claims ng mga legal heirs. No? Kapag nag-donate, si for example, si Juan de la Cruz, ang anak niya ay si Pedro at si Carlo. Nag-donate siya kay Denver na hindi naman niya anak, hindi naman niya kaano-ano. Kapag sumobra yung donation niya at ma-i-impair yung legitim, yung kumbaga tinatawag nating mana nung dalawa, ayan, inofficious donation yun. Okay? Express condonation shall further comply with the forms of donation. And po yung sinasabi kong in writing, forms of donation. Okay? O say for example naman, real property, it must be in public instrument. Requisite of condonation, it must be gratuitous. The obligation must be demandable at the time of remission or condonation. It must be accepted by the obligor. It must not amount to an inofficious donation. We have discussed this a while ago. Dapat hindi ito makaka-impair ng legitime. Kasi kapag makaka-impair ng legitime, hindi pwede yung condonation dyan. Actually, yung donation na yan ay hindi valid. It must be made express. If it is made expressly, it must comply with the forms of donation. So we have express condonation and implied. So, if real property, both remission and acceptance must be made in public instrument. Otherwise, it is void. No? If personal property, as discussed a while ago, exceeded 5,000 yung value, both the remission and acceptance must be in writing, not necessarily in public instrument. Otherwise, it is void. The value does not exceed 5,000, okay? It can be made orally. Ayan. So, implied does not require any form, but acceptance of the debtor must be shown. Okay? Confusion or merger of rights. Ito yung example natin kanina, class, na nag-issue ng promissory note or bill of exchange itong debtor, no? See, for example, alam niyo naman sa negotiable instruments law, no? Section 1, for an instrument to be negotiable, it must comply to the following requisite. Number 1, it must be in writing and signed by the maker or drawer. Number 2, it must contain an unconditional promise or order to pay a sum certain in money. Number 3, it must be payable on demand or at a fixed determinable future time. Number 4, it must be payable to order or bearer. Number 5, where an instrument is addressed to a drawee, he must be named or indicated therein with reasonable certainty. So again, ang ating acronym ay WUPI, no? WUPI. So ito, gagamitin natin yung concept ng negotiable instrument para magkaroon ng confusion or merger. Kasi pinagpapasapasahan eh. See, for example, si A, promissory note, no? Nag-promise siya kay B na babayaran siya. Etong si B, hindi niya mahintay yung due date. Kaya in-endorse na kay C. Tapos si C, hindi niya mahintay yung due date, in-endorse naman niya kay D. Ni-negotiate niya. Di ba? Etong si D naman, prior to the due date, ni-negotiate naman niya kay A. Ngayon, si A, siya na yung may hawak ulit nung promissory note or yung bill of exchange. Diba? So si A, siya na yung creditor, siya pa yung debtor. Kaya confused ngayon siya. Ano ba ang personality ko ngayon? I'm confused. Yan. Kasi nag-merge sa akin yung personality ni creditor and debtor. Alangan namang bayaran ni A ang sarili niya. So hindi po payment ang extinguishment ng obligation. Okay? Pero kung si D ay nag-collect kay A, hindi ito negotiation, no? Kaya naman endorsement. Hindi niya in-endorse. Ito kasi endorsement eh. Kung hindi niya in-endorse, kung hindi kinolect niya, hindi na po confusion ang magiging mode of extinguishment of the obligation. It will be what? It will be payment or performance kapag collect. Okay? So under merger, the obligation is extinguished from the time the character of the creditor and debtor are merged in the same person. Merger which takes place in the person of the principal debtor creditor benefits the guarantors. Requisite, it must take place in person of the principal creditor and principal debtor. It must be complete and definite, otherwise the obligation still subsists. Compensation. Ito po, ang compensation, yung concept nito ay quits na tayo. Quits, di ba? May utang ako sa iyo, may utang ka sa akin, and then quits na tayo. Kung eksakto. Okay? Kung hindi naman eksakto, ineto na natin. Kung ang utang ko sa iyo ay 10,000, utang mo sa akin ay 5,000, okay? Meron pa akong utang sa iyo na 5,000 na lang. Ayan. Ganun ka-practical ang batas. No? Now, compensation shall take place when two persons in their own right are creditors and debtors of each other. Okay? So kanina, confusion, debtor and creditor, same person. Dito naman sa compensation, debtor and creditor of each other. Okay? So si Juan de la Cruz, pinautangan niya si Pedro. Etong si Pedro naman, umutang din siya kay Juan de la Cruz. It is a mode of extinguishing or extinguishment of an obligation to the concurrent amounts, the obligation of person who in their own right as principals are reciprocally creditors and debtor of each other. So we have three kinds of compensation. Legal compensation, conventional, or voluntary. Ito po yung napag-agrihan. And then judicial, it is the court that determines or declares compensation. So legal, when all requisites of the law are present, it take place ipso jure. It operates even against the will of the interested party. Kagaya ng sabi ko kanina, 10,000 ang utang ni Juan de la Cruz, 5,000 ang utang ni Pedro, kahit ayaw ni Juan de la Cruz na ineto yan, magnenet. Okay? Even if it's against the will of the interested party or even without consent of them. Because it's according to the law. Compensation yon. Now, when parties agree to the mutual extinguishment of their credits even in the absence of some legal requisite. Dito kasi sa legal compensation dapat due and demandable naman na yung dalawang utang. Sa conventional, pwede pong mag-agree na even hindi pa due and demandable yung isa, syempre may utang naman siyang existing dun sa isa, okay? So pwede silang mag-agree na i-quits na lang nila. Ayan. Judicial takes place when the court allows set-off or counterclaim of defendant against the claim of the plaintiff. So may claim si Juan de la Cruz against kay Pedro, may claim din si Pedro against kay Juan de la Cruz. It's the court that declares yung tinatawag nating compensation. Okay? May jurisprudence class na hindi pwedeng i-offset, no, or i-apply ang compensation kung ikaw ay nagki-claim ng payment from the government. At the same time, may utang ka na tax, may tax liability ka sa government. Diba? Say for example, ikaw ay contractor at ikaw ay mag-construct ng bridge. Nung natapos mo na yung bridge ng isang local government unit, okay, syempre yung local government unit magbabayad dapat sa iyo ng yung cost, yung contract price ng bridge na yan. Syempre, pending yung pagbayad, sinisingil ka naman na ng BIR. Di ba? Ng BIR dun sa tax liability mo. Pwede mo bang i-offset? The answer is no. Okay? So, yun. Novation. Novation is a mode of extinguishing the old obligation by modifying the old and creating a new valid obligation. So, merong dati na utang or dati na obligation. Say, for example, magbayad ng 10,000 loan, or mag-deliver ng goods, or ang obligation mo ay mag-paint ng bahay. Ayan. Ngayon, papalitan mo ng bagong obligation. Okay? So, imbis na magbayad ka ng pera, okay, mag-lecture ka na lang. Ayan. So, objective novation. Or imbis na si Juan de la Cruz ang magbayad ng pera kay Pedro, si Denver na lang magbayad ng pera kay Pedro. So, subjective novation. So, yan na. So, we have here, obligations may be modified by changing the object or substituting the person of the debtor. So, kapag yung debtor ang pinalitan, kagaya kanina ng instance natin, substitution ang tawag doon. Okay? Pero kung ang pinalitan ay yung creditor, yung naniningil, say for example, si Juan de la Cruz, may utang siya kay Pedro na 10,000. Okay? At ang sabi ni Pedro, Denver, ikaw na lang ang maningil. Isosobrogate ko na sa iyo yung karapatan ko as creditor to collect from Juan de la Cruz. So kapag ganyan, subrogation naman yan. Subrogating the third person in the right of the creditor. Okay? So take note of that. Substitution kung debtor, subrogation kapag creditor ang pinalitan. So take note kapag novation, yung triangle. And triangle ay change. Okay? Change sa object or change sa subject. Okay? So kapag change sa subject, ayan, yung creditor ba ang pinalitan or yung debtor ba ang pinalitan? Okay? Kasi kung creditor, it is subrogation. Kapag ka naman debtor, it is substitution. Okay? Subrogation. Ayan. Ito naman, substitution. Okay? So, ganyan po, mga kapatid. For novation to take place, the following requisite must concur. There must be previous valid obligation. So valid dapat yung papalitan. Kasi hindi mo na pwedeng palitan ang void. Di ba? Alam naman natin yung different kinds of obligations na, no? And yung contracts. The parties concerned must agree to the new contract. Okay? There must be an agreement. Old contract must be extinguished and there must be a valid new contract. And speaking of contract, we have the essential elements of a contract, COC, consent, object, and consideration. Diba? Yeah. Novation, which consists in substituting a new debtor in the place of the original one, is known as substitution. It may be made even without the knowledge. Kapag walang knowledge, ang tawag po dyan ay ex-promission. Okay? Ex-promission. Ex. Wala. Ayan. Ex-promission. hindi natimbrehan, no? It may not be made without the consent of the creditor. Siyempre, kahit na, kunyari lang class ha, si Juan de la Cruz, may utang siya kay Pedro ulit, 10,000. Tapos si Denver, binayaran niya si creditor na Pedro. Ako nang magbabayad ng utang ni Juan de la Cruz. Bakit? Kapatid ko siya. Alam ba ni Juan de la Cruz yan? Ay hindi. Eh bakit mo babayaran? Surprise ko yan. Regalo ko sa kanya. Example, ganun. O tinanggap, no? May consent si creditor, tinanggap niya. So, ito na mga debtor, napalitan na. So, substitution yon. Huwag mo nang singilin yung kapatid ko, ako nang magbabayad. Without the knowledge. Pero pag sinabi ni Juan de la Cruz, no, kay Pedro, "Oy Pedro, nag-usap kami ng kapatid ko, si Denver. O ano ngayon, hindi ko na makilala yung kapatid mo." Hindi, siya na yung magbabayad. Ay, ganun ba? Nasaan si Denver? Kausapin natin. Yan na si Denver. Di ba, tol, ikaw magbabayad? Oh, ako na magbabayad. O, dinidelegate ko na sa'yo, ha? Yung utang ko. So, delegasyon naman yon. Okay? So, kapag alam ng debtor, delegasyon. Ayan. Effect of insolvency or non-fulfillment of obligation of the new debtor. If the substitution is without the knowledge or against the will of the debtor, it is known as expromission. So it shall not give rise to any liability on the part of the original debtor. Kumbaga, kung hindi makapagbayad yung bagong debtor na nagsabi kay creditor na kung magbabayad, wag mo nang singilin siya. Eh teka lang, nung hindi na makapagbayad, no? Yung original debtor, wala siyang liability doon. At kung ano lang, no, ang binayaran ng bagong debtor na nag-substitute kay original debtor, yun lang ang liability ni original debtor. Kung ano lang ang beneficial sa kanya, no? Kasi baka naman binabayaran pala ni Denver yung utang ni Juan de la Cruz para yung interest ay siya yung makakuha. E teka lang, kung ano lang beneficial kay original debtor sa expromission, yun lang ang kanyang obligation. If substitution has been proposed by the original debtor, o si Juan de la Cruz ang nagsabi, and accepted by the creditor, this is also known as delegation. Okay? As a rule, it shall not revive the action of the creditor against the original debtor. So, ibig sabihin, kung tinanggap ni creditor si Denver na na-delegate, na siya na yung magbabayad, okay? At pinopose kasi yan ni original debtor, as a rule, it shall not revive the action of the creditor against the original debtor. So, singilin mo na si Denver, no? Kasi siya na yung na-delegate na debtor. Okay? Wala na akong, kumbaga, kinalaman dyan. Except, sabi ng batas, when the said insolvency, kaya naman pala hindi makolek ni Pedro, itong si Denver, wala siya makolekta kasi insolvent pala si Denver na na-delegate ni Juan de la Cruz at nag-e-exist siya during the time of delegation. And it is a public knowledge when he delegated his debt na insolvent. Okay? Or sabi dito sa batas, when it is known to the debtor, alam ni Juan de la Cruz na at the time of delegation of his debt ay insolvent itong si Denver. So, kumbaga, kawawa naman si creditor. Kapag ganyan, there will be revival. Ibig sabihin ng revival, hindi na si Denver ang sisingilin ni creditor, kung hindi, babalik sa original debtor. Okay? Novation by substitution of the debtor. We have expromission, again, and delegation. So, the initiative or the change does not come from the debtor kasi nga hindi niya alam without his knowledge or against his will. So, ang consent, yung third person lang at yung creditor. Yung kapatid, si Denver, at yung si creditor na si Pedro. While in the delegation, the original debtor offers, siya na yung nag-initiate. Kaya ang consent, yung tatlo. Yung third person, si Denver, yung creditor, si Pedro, at original debtor, si Juan de la Cruz. Effect, the obligation of the old debtor is extinguished. Okay, kasi binayaran na nung new debtor eh. Diba? Extinguished. The third person, which is the new debtor yan, may demand reimbursement only up to the extent the payment has been beneficial to the original debtor. So hindi siya pwedeng maningil ng more than dun sa ibinayad niya. Okay? No right of subrogation. So kapag ka-expromission, wala pong subrogation. Ibig sabihin, hindi magiging creditor itong si new third person or new debtor ni original debtor. I-reimburse lang niya. So hindi po siya pwede maningil ng interest. While in delegation, the obligation of the old debtor is extinguished. So both expromission and delegation, extinguished na yung original debt ng old debtor. The legal subrogation is created. So dito may subrogation. Bakit? Si debtor na mismo ang nag-offer. Di ba? Kay creditor at saka dun sa third person. Siya na magbabayad. So ibig sabihin, nung binayaran na ni third person Denver itong si Pedro, solved na yung obligation na dati. At ngayon, itong si Denver magiging creditor na ni original debtor na Juan de la Cruz. There is legal subrogation. Okay? Ayan. If the third person is not interested in the obligation. In case of insolvency, na-discuss na natin to kanina, it shall not give rise to the liability of the old debtor. As a rule, walang revival. Okay? Kapag insolvent na yung new third person na creditor. Unless, sabi nga sa batas, yung insolvency ay nag-exist at the time of substitution or public knowledge and known to the old debtor. Itinago lang, alam ni old debtor yan. In case of insolvency of the new debtor, it shall not give rise to the liability of the old debtor. Extinguish na po yung obligation niya. Ayan. Okay? Novation by subrogation, the transfer of all rights of the creditor to the third person who substitutes him in his rights. So pag sinabing subrogation, ang napalitan ay si creditor. Okay, oy debtor. Sabi ni Pedro kay Juan de la Cruz, Pedro, hindi pa kita mababayaran. Yun nga, hindi mo ako mababayaran. Kaya sinasobrogate ko na, tinatransfer ko na yung right of credit, yung sisingilin ko sa'yo kay, say for example, Berlin. Ayan, sa mga nanonood ng Berlin. So si Berlin na yung babayaran ko. Oo, siya na. Kasi siya na yung new creditor mo. Subrogation po yun. Okay? So we have legal subrogation. It takes place without agreement but by operation of law because of certain acts. So kung hindi mo sinabi, at ang naniningil na ay si Berlin, legal subrogation yon. Conventional, it takes place by agreement of the parties. So nag-agree pati din yung debtor. Okay? So legal subrogation and conventional subrogation. Okay, this ends our discussion with regard to extinguishment of obligation.